Yes, it is. Recording is in progress. And I'm by myself. Hey, I got Sabrina. But no attendees. Well. Where's that? Let me Google. Was it funny? I'm gonna do this off screen. Funny lonely memes or GIFs. That's funny. Oh, hey, look at that. Oh, it's Robert. Hey, Robert. These are too sad. I want like goofy ones. Yeah, there's no funny like memes. Like it's like every time I say funny lonely meme and I get two serious lonely memes. This is not what I want. I want to laugh. Who doesn't want to laugh? Laughing is a great antidote. 350 lonely ideas. Okay. Nope. Nope. I'm so glad I'm searching this off. Hey, I think we got one. Hey, hey. What's up, Alex? How's it going? Do you have a question? I will be hosting Lunch and Learn. I'm gonna give you permission to talk.
Oh, hi, Jared. No, I don't have any questions particularly. I just wanted to see what others ask and learn a bit from them and yourself.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Well, we'll be here.
Is that it's a slow news day today?
Yep, slow day today, man. We're just at the lunch table, just kind of, it's how it is.
Okay.
We also have a lot of guests in the building, customers for our Submerse event. So a lot of the customers that would normally be on this lunch and learn are actually, fortunately, in the building with us today.
Yeah. So it is good. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Nope, no attendees today. It's just you, man. Do you know how the V9 beta is going? Yeah, I could talk to that if you want. So I'm actually working with one of our internal project managers to get that started. So right now we've consolidated everyone who is going to be a part of that beta, and so yeah. So that was we had to refactor how we did some things. Basically, what's going to happen now is your customer service manager is going to reach out to you and is going to schedule that meeting. And at some point, you guys are going to talk to me, and I'm going to kind of show you guys. We've created, certain environments for you guys to test in. I'm going to walk you through the basics of version 9. Our documentation lead, Kirsten, has some of version 9 documents completed. They're not all completed, but a majority of them are, or a good portion rather. And I'll show you guys how you can use that as you kind of play around and mess around with version 9. So it will be happening soon. We're working on it this week. So it should be happening either this week, near the end of this week or next week. You'll be getting some meeting schedule with you guys to schedule that. Awesome, great question. What's next, Alex? I'm ready for you. That was a good one. All right. So to make this not, let's see. Ooh, what would you say are the biggest mindset? Ooh, how about this? I'm just gonna we'll do two things. I will impromptu create some type of show for you, just for you, Alex, because you're my man. All right. So the first thing we'll talk about is I will show you some cool things in version 9. Oh, I know, right? You got to come to a immersement event, man. I would love to meet you in person. So I will show you some of the biggest changes that we kind of have in version 9. All right, so in version 9, I have a test environment. If I can remember this password. It's a little complicated. All right, so the first thing you're going to see in version 9, especially with this, is version 9 changes the design paradigm from decisions projects to a thing called Project Hub. So one thing you'll notice here is notice that there's no way to switch to the Designer Studio or Portal. So if I'm going to go to my local, just so you can see the contrast of this, right? I have this kind of little monitor screen here that says switch to Portal, and I can switch back here. So what happens in version 9, however, is you just have this thing called a project view, or what the official term is called is Project Hub. Because every single thing in decisions has to be tied to a project, we merely transformed the design paradigm to match what typically people will do. In older version 8, what happened is you can have people will create a lot of different things, combine them to different projects and have different dependencies, and it's very hard to track. With this new version 9 paradigm, if you go into your project, you will only see all of the settings associated to your project, only the scaffolding for your data structures tied to your specific project, only any integrations, configurations, scheduled jobs tied to your specific category, right? So it very much cleans everything up. And if you have specific accounts, right, roles and things like that, it's all scaffolded and kind of put in its thing called a project, a project hub is what it's called. So that's one of the major things that's changed in version 9. That's I would say is the mindset is how you design projects, right? Because if I went into my version, right, people have seen me this. I have my own folder scaffolding project that I run that says, hello Alex, right? And then I select all, and then it scaffolds, all the stuff that I need. So essentially, we just took that instead of having to build that for you in V8. You already have that. That's basically the mentality you have in version 9. I have to go to Denmark, man. Oh yes, you can. I'll let you talk. Permissions back. When you're in Denmark, it's hard. I'll try to go to Denmark, but
No, I was in the
you can
suburbs in Denmark. That's what I meant last year.
Oh, I gotcha.
You guys did one over there, and
Yeah.
I used the opportunity. Yeah,
Mhm.
Jessica was in it. She probably beat you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so coming
Are
back
you
to
gonna
here,
yeah.
I usually create my projects with a 3-letter code, and do all the scaffolding underneath. Oh, this is on version 8, right? And then I create
Mhm.
users or groups that start with the same 3 letters,
Mhm.
for particularly groups, right?
Mhm.
So I can quickly identify, which permissions I'm going to give. And
Mhm.
also, I found that it makes makes it a lot easier
Mhm.
to create my data structures also started with the 3-letter code of my project. So
Sure.
if my project is called, I don't know, IBM, right?
Mhm.
I would have groups that start with IBM admin, IBM operator, IBM whatever. And then all my data structures also start with IBM. which allows me to, when in one box you have multiple projects, the data structures is probably one of the things that get confused more easily because you're creating them continuously, right? Do you know whether in version 9, the data structures, the user data structures are associated to a project or are still general to the entire decisions?
Yeah, so they're actually tied to the specific project. So if I go into demo, like demo my version 9 project, and let's say, I think I have a data type in here, do I? Let me find one with a data type. Basically, hey, let's go into here. So this is my purchase request application, right? And I have my data structure, right? Let's see. Sure, my flow execution extension data structure. Now this is an unstable build, so this may not work, but this is the intention. So only flows or designers know of this data type. So if I create a flow here, and I do set a process folder, right, to create a process folder record. And we're just going to skip that part because I don't need to show that. And then, right, I can only see the setup process folder step, for this project, the purchase request. So because I'm in the project hub for this. Now, if I went to my demo version 9 where I have nothing, like I said, this should work. It may not work because this is an unstable build and I haven't updated it to the most recent build. But if I go into, let me go ahead and delete this. But if I go ahead and add my setup process folder right here, find it, come on, right, set a process folder, and I just check that box to grab the extension data. I should have nothing appears, right?
Oh, I
Yeah,
love
because it's
this.
not part of that project. Yeah, so it makes it easier. You basically, any flow steps or custom flow rules you have will only show what you have for this specific project. So it makes it a lot more organized and easier to understand.
I love it.
Another thing that you may like, that was kind of shown a little bit before I deleted it, is, remember the internal services category? Where it's like all that stuff. But we changed it a little bit. So now there's only one step, right? And let's just call it an internal decision service. And the cool thing about this is on the properties, you can select any of the services you want, right? So if I want to do the account service, boom, then I can merely select the method name that I want, add new account, and then the properties and inputs, boom, automatically appear for me. And so I can easily just change this by with a click of a button, change which internal service I want to call instead of having to drill down into millions of different categories. So that's a cool kind of addition that's changing there.
But truly, you're still navigating, except that now you're navigating within the step instead of navigating from the menu on the left, right? For that matter, you could have only that one step, right? And do away with entire navigation tree on the left, right?
Yeah, so that's what it is. And also, right, so I can say I want to call internal decision service, right? And then boom, I could search for it now. And I can drag it over and I can select it, right? So it's easier to find and easier to access now. I don't have to drill down and say I want this specific thing. I can just say, hey, I have to search for this step. And then I can change which service that I want to call.
So there is a category, there's a service name, account service, and then where do you select add new account?
Method name.
Oh, method name. Okay.
Yep. Service name, method name.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Another big thing too is notice that since we don't have any designer portal anymore, so dashboards will be pushed to the public folder, and you would merely have to utilize like user permissions to constrain the view that only the people in your assignment roles or groups on the settings here can access, like permissions, right? You want to make sure you set that and say, hey, only these end users can access this end user dashboard. Since there's no portal, right? You utilizing the folder permissions and creating a new folder, public folders, this is for like if I have an end user dashboard I want them to view. Catalog is I want someone just to have the ability to run a flow, not do anything else. So
Sorry, say that
That
again.
So the catalog is, I just want someone to be able to run a flow, right? Kind of like the
Uh-huh.
end user catalog, like the 4 checkboxes that people have.
Yeah.
That just publishes something here that people can run. That's all that does. And then
Got
the
it.
other one, public folders, is the actual end user dashboard, right? I want to create another folder in here, create a folder. I'll say this is Alex's dashboard, right? And then I would add a page to this and then give permissions only to you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
So,
the new way.
okay. So you permission at the folder level, still not at the dashboard level, right?
Correct. You still do both. But
So
I don't have to say show end user portal visibility because there is no
yeah,
portal
yeah,
anymore.
that thing was a bunch of steps that
Mhm.
didn't add value truly. That this is a good thing.
Exactly. No,
So,
totally agree.
so if you have dashboards which are typically oriented at the group level, do you still
Mhm.
need a folder to put one dashboard inside, or would you associate a dashboard itself to permissioning wise to a particular user group or groups?
Something I would say you could do either or, right? I
Uh-huh.
mean, there still is a permission inheritance that,
Uh-huh.
you want to make sure that you add that page to that, to the folder so
Mhm.
that it will display. But yeah, it's just you permissions, manage the permissions, do it on the
Because
accounts and groups.
yeah, in the old decisions, the group permissions were only done at the folder level, not at the object, the configurable object, I think you call them, a flow or a report or whatnot.
Mhm.
You assign permissions to folders. So it's the way I remember it, I may be wrong here.
So it's still the same. Permissions are still applied to the folder. I may not be understanding the question. Permissions are still applied to the folder level,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
then any object underneath will be inherited with those
Yeah, yeah,
permissions.
yeah.
So
So that's what I was
that's the
saying. You
difference.
still need to put folders under public folders. You need to
Hmm.
put folders for each project where you may have,
No,
because this public is not, or sorry, this public is about still the demo v9 project. Sorry, I was trying to figure out whether public was really
public
public
is
or,
just a dashboard.
yes,
So no designer elements would live in the public folder.
correct, correct. But if you
Right.
put
So.
a page here,
Hmm.
which is my dashboard, Alex's dashboard, instead of a
Hmm.
folder,
Hmm.
um, and you configure that page to be visible only by my group, or in order to do
Hmm.
that, you have to put that page inside a folder called Alex's dashboard to be able to configure permissions.
Well, yeah, the dashboard is still maintained the same, right? It's a page plus a folder. So I would have already a page plus a folder added as meaning my dashboard. Then I would
Mhm.
move that said dashboard into the public folder, like Alex's dashboard, and then it would appear to the end user, right? Kind of like this, where it's like, oh, now I have a manager dashboard that I can look at right here, and it's just a folder, and they click on it and they view it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, that is good.
Hmm.
How about two things that have always been a big pain for me?
Sure.
When I do a flow, when
Hmm.
I'm configuring flows, uh, the properties window um, was usually, it had a lot of submenus or like an accordion. I wanted this to be like an accordion menu that
Hmm.
instead of showing, 3 pages long properties, will
Hmm.
show me the top level, and I open that top level and get the properties underneath that.
Sure. Sure.
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yep. I think it's that. I don't think that has changed. I think it's still the same view in that area where you can see the settings. Or if I go to click on properties, I know that menu interaction hasn't changed for that.
Because my suggestion, and I asked for this so many times, is default to all these menus, testing and
Hmm.
simulation, outcomes, inputs, all them closed, right?
Hmm.
And if I open one, let me just open that one. And if I open another one, close the other one, and leave this one open, because the new one, because I am not very good. This is my personal, ADD probably.
Sure.
I'm not very good at seeing very long menus and trying to figure
Mhm.
out where the hell things are, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So, okay. And they can be very scary, particularly for a new
Mhm.
user, right?
Oh
There's
yeah.
so many.
There's just a lot. Yeah.
And the other thing that was a big issue for me was forms.
Mhm.
Forms was always kind of crappy. Uh, has anything been done in this space?
I think it just the. Oops, I didn't want to name it with the.
Yeah, that's still the old dude.
Exactly. Yeah. It's still there's no big. The only thing that's changed on the designers, I can speak to all the designers, is just the look and feel of like the icons up top. Some of the controls have had like a facelift, like the drop down list. I think I haven't updated this version, but the drop down list and some of the controls are going to have a modern look and feel to it. But other than that, it's still the same, designer kind of input experience. There's no big paradigm change
Mm, pity, because forms is the face of your application, right? If
there.
this is not really, really cool,
Hmm.
uh, we're usually missing, right? And a lot of you know, I opened gazillion tickets on this, data
Hmm.
grid and what was it? The repeater. Um,
Hmm.
I can't remember the names of these things. Group repeater or something like that. I don't
Sure.
need 4 different widgets to put a list of things in a form. Just give me one that does it
Hmm.
all and
Hmm.
make my life a little bit simpler. Thank you.
Hmm.
The other one was, well, fixing certain things with the regex. When I have to check um, whether someone is entering a text that needs to fall into particular characteristics.
Format. Yeah.
Yeah, regex not always work well. I raised tickets on that.
Hmm.
Um, the date, the calendar. Oh my
Hmm.
God. That is, sounds like 1994 calendar widget, right?
Hmm.
I should be able to gray out dates within ranges
Hmm.
and not having to have a trip to the server to find whether the date that I just selected is incorrect if I know that it's going to be incorrect, right? So
Hmm.
little things in the forms that can
Sure.
be
Sure.
um, this to me was very, very important, but okay, this is what it is.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. That'll be. I would then pay attention on look to some future. Like when Eric Wilmer talks about the roadmap, those things may be on the roadmap and just not on the initial 9.0.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I gave
True.
Eric, a special
Hmm.
a special session on all the things that to me were bad with
Hmm.
this as a platform.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, if in order to do something, I have to spend so much time trying to figure out how to do it that doing it,
Hmm.
something is wrong, right?
Sure.
If I cannot figure it out quickly enough, something is wrong.
Sure.
And you know, notations with the names of the data structures and things like that. You
Hmm.
know, um, the word entity totally abused, right?
Hmm.
Everything we do is an entity in a data structure. Come on, right?
Hmm.
So if you cannot make a difference, remove the term, call it something else. So there's no ambiguity. Anyway,
Hmm.
I'm really looking forward to testing it and
Sure.
create my list again, and maybe with a little bit of luck, it will be evolved. But I like the concept of the project. I think it is a
Hmm.
great, great concept, um, particularly because it allows you to see what you need to see and no more than that, right? Encapsulates stuff a lot better.
Exactly. And this way, because right, one of the biggest things that this version 9 is trying to solve for is like when you transition and move your projects to different go from dev to repo to prod. We want to make sure that we got all the dependencies we need for that project to run. And it was very difficult in version 8 when like, oh, hey, we might have someone has, we're using this thing from another project over here and it's not cleanly delineated because we have to like browse dependencies to find that. But in version 9, everything's cleanly in that project hub and you have to create explicit dependencies in order to see even the flows or rules of another project. And then when you package it, it will make sure that it has everything it needs
Exactly.
a lot better. So I know that that's one of the main goals that the initial launch is supposed to solve.
Yeah, the biggest issue, as you were saying, is if I have common code that applies to more than one project, you probably have to define the pieces that need to be included in your project from that common code, right?
Correct.
Yeah, like they all include in C. Sorry, that was the language I learned. I used to code when I was a lot younger.
I got you.
One last thing.
At least it's not COBOL. If it was COBOL, I'd be like, man, that's crazy.
What you
Way
said?
back. I said as long as it's not COBOL, I can follow along.
Well, I would be making a lot more money if it were COBOL. I'm serious. There's a scarcity of COBOL developers, but there are a zillion lines of code that no one dares to touch.
Exactly, yeah, because no one understands anymore.
And by the way, some of the peculiarities of COBOL, although it was extremely verbose, were that it was so freaking powerful for a language that was from the 60s, I believe. So anyway, if I now delete a project, does everything go with it, including the data structures? Please say yes.
Let's try it. That one I don't know. I haven't tested out, but let's just delete everything. So let's see.
Because
let me just first create a data structure in this project.
sorry, you won't see it from the only way you're going to see that is with SSMS. Because
that with SSMS? What do you mean?
Well, you cannot see whether deleting a project deletes the database structures because you cannot see those database structures anyway from another project. You see what I'm saying?
So, so your question isn't, does it delete the data structure that's in the project if I delete the entire project? Does it delete the data structure that's tied to from another project? That doesn't sound like a good feature.
Sorry, no. That's not what I said, or not what I tried to say. Sorry, maybe that is what I said.
I know I misunderstood. Obviously, that's okay.
So imagine that I create project X and I create 3 data structures, say database structures. Physically, that exists in the database as 3 tables.
Sure.
Right? When I delete this project, do those 3 physical tables get deleted from my database?
Gotcha. No.
Today they are not. Today they are not.
I got you. Let's find out. That one I don't know. That's what I was like. We can just test it out. Test 2. I mean, let's just do 1. I'm sure that would do. All right. So I got the data structure. Let me see if I can get this ID. And query editor. Let me do test. I think that's what I called it. Okay, let's see if I can find this table name. Okay.
Was there?
Yep, well, I didn't delete it yet. Now, let's go ahead. I copy that query. Now I'm going to delete the entire demo v9 thing. More delete. Okay, so I got key contents are complete. Let's do complete. So we're going to completely delete it. So yeah, it looks like it's still there, but I'm wondering if this is marked for deleted because nothing in decisions is permanently deleted until it's reaches its archive date. So what can I get? I want to get this ID of this thing. Of this. Because I don't think that would change. Tests, Project V9, data structures, Gemma V9 tests. I know that. But I want to insert table name. I have to get the I have to go from the designer element table. From element underscore registration. Where entity underscore name. And I always forget. Like, it's like percent test percent. Entity name. Because the real test I want to look for is I want to find out if I can see its archive date. Entity name. You know what? Let's just not do entity underscore name. That's all I want. I don't want the whole everything. Unit test, unit test, database connection.
The name test wasn't probably the best choice, right?
I was about to say, yeah, I probably should have
Well,
done
one of the latest, right? Shouldn't it be the last one?
That's
Because-
true. That's true. Yeah, I'd have to do descending on that one. Select. I think that's one. And if I do, let's see. Yeah, if I do order by SQL, I think just order by.
No, actually, just go to the end of that table. Just run this one again.
That would work
And
too.
to the very end. There it is. No, test interval. No, sorry. 420. No. Sorry, my theory.
That was a good theory, though. That was a really good theory, though. Let's test this again. I can do project V9 dependencies. We can delete this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to name this one. This is going to be very unique, and there's no way we can forget it. User defined type. Database. Most people like cheese. I cheese. And then we're going to name it. This namespace is cheese. So now we can be able to find it really easy. Test one. And yes, you can beat me up later for not liking cheese.
I love
And then
cheese.
I know most people do. All my friends do, and they're like, "How can you not like cheese?" I was like, I just don't. All right, cool. So we got this. So it's called cheese. So let's just confirm. I can look up cheese. Select asterisk from cheese. No, keep messing this up. Search for cheese. Here we go. Cheese underscore cheese. Okay. So I need to select
One of
this.
the table space.
Yeah. So that's what I forgot. Okay. So let's. Oh no, cheese underscore cheese. And then I'm
There's
just gonna. Yeah. So that's the thing. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I need to select. I want to find it first. Select asterisk element from element underscore registration. Where entity underscore name like percent cheese percent. Where is that thing?
capital. No, it should find the.
maybe let's do it this way. Data structure, refresh.
Okay.
Get flow data structure. Okay, that's the ID. Perfect. That's makes sense because I want to find that in the element registration table. Select asterisk from element underscore registration. Registration where I think it's like component underscore registration underscore ID equals this. So there's no, this has to exist somewhere. I mean, it makes sense it's not an element. Because that's the thing that determines it. It has to be removed from a couple of other different tables, entity to remove it. So I don't think, so in quick summary, I don't think it's gonna be permanently deleted just yet. When you delete the entire project, it's gonna wait till it hits its archive date, which let's look at what the default archive entities. No, I don't want the archive entities. I just want to go to the settings, enable. And so you can enable and saying archive strategy after 30 days of deleting it, it will delete the entire thing. And then this is the thing that says, hey, that once it's deleted, it's gone. So once this is turned on, and you can set this to like, hey, after 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, but once it reaches that archive
That
date,
is
then it's
very
gone.
useful.
I don't think that change.
I did not know of that one. It is under settings, right?
Yeah, under settings. Now, what some people do is you can also say that, you know, some people don't want to delete it. They want to say, I want to move this. So just in case, in the off chance we may want it back, you can set up an external connection to another database that just houses all that old junk stuff. Yeah. So yeah. So you have the option. I think you also have this in version 8 as well. So if I go to localhost.
Yeah, very likely. The fact that I don't know about it doesn't mean that it wasn't there. Okay.
I'm just checking because I totally forgot. Yeah, it's here too. Okay, good. Phew. I just haven't had to look at it for a while. So yeah, so you could do that in version 8 as well.
Cool. This was very interesting.
Good. I'm glad. Alrighty. 1240.
Well,
Any
I'm
other
really
questions?
looking forward to using the
Version 9.
Version 9. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that you guys also put new icons on for the flows, I believe.
Yep. There's new icons on the top bar for flows, rules, reports, pages, everything.
Cool.
To make it more modern looking.
Okay. I really look forward to it. Okay.
Cool.
I don't want to take more of your time than I already did because
No worries,
I think you're very gracious and appreciate that.
Of course, my pleasure. Well, I'll let you go and I'll make sure this recording gets uploaded so you can, refer back to it. But thank you so much for your guys' time. My pleasure.
Bye now.